But you know what's worse is that when people pass the rumor around that you've died, you know, and
So wait,
that's
have you had a false death rumor
I've
circulated
had
about you?
several.
Oh my
Several?
God.
Yes.
Oh
Oh
no.
my God.
So yeah, seriously. And I was at the airport. What was the strangest one? I was at the airport, and this friend of mine, I was in Amsterdam, or Rotterdam, or someplace, and I hear this voice saying, "Charles, Charles," and it was crossing over this carousel where you get your luggage, and so I go over there and say, "Man, what's going on?" Okay, and then his wife comes up and shocked. "Charles, I thought you dead." I thought you. I said, "No, yeah, I'm very much here alive." And then another person, I won't mention their names, though, another person did the same thing, passes a rumor around that I had passed on, you know, and it's like these people go around, I guess to make news or something, I don't know. And just recently, a friend of mine said, you know, she wanted to call me or something. And she said, you know, there's someone called me. It was like a Jehovah Witness, something like that. Called. I'm not a Jehovah Witness, but if she called and said that there was something wrong, you know, you had died or something. I said, no, I don't know what. I guess people must profit by this or something. You know, there was no other reason.
Oh, we could put a disclaimer at the beginning of the episode if that would help.
Well,
I say, folks, you heard it here first. Charles Burnett is still alive.
He's alive and well and living.
Yeah, but I'm a little afraid. It's just, no, I'm a little afraid because you might put that. Well, this is when he was alive. This program.
Oh yeah. You don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, this program was alive when we did this interview.
Oh God, yeah, that's always like the saddest episodes of like Oprah and stuff where they're like interviewing him for 45 minutes and then just like half a second before the credits, oh, by the way, they're dead. Right. That's
and
like the worst.
Remember it. No.
Oh yeah.
Remember it. Yeah. It's like in memoriam, you know.
Oh right.
He what? You know, this.
Do you know how any of these rumors started? Or like how
no, it's just you have crazy friends, you know.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, they're crazy friends, and once I don't know.
It's well, did not think that was where this interview was going to go.
Oh God.
So do you have any projects in the pipeline?
Not exactly. I have to say that because I have to be very careful of what I say these days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's like maybe some top secret. There's like an area 51 of projects that we may or may not see in the near future.
Yeah. Well, it's up to me to a large extent, you know. But I'm going to try to. I need them. Yeah.
What else are we gonna ask?
Did I throw you off track?
Oh no!
Hey, there's there's no such thing. Or we try to track, but yeah. So,
were any of your films after Killer of Sheep also storyboarded? Were all of them storyboarded? Were some of them storyboarded?
Yeah, most of them were to a certain extent. So you know what happens is you find that in order to be up on everything, if you come into a shoot and know where to set the camera, at least get that down, you know. Right. But what I find is the things I like doing best is doing a blocking and getting the shots from, you know, blocking the scene, you know, because you give you the best angles, the best everything, and timing and cutting, and there's a flow there that's natural. And so when I used to storyboard, it was like, okay, put the camera here, you stand here, you do this kind of stuff, and it's just too mechanical and it's not inspiring. It's when you let the actors own this space and be themselves.
And so when you're blocking it, is it sort of like you're on the set and you're kind of letting the actors kind of explore the space and then seeing what's working? And
yeah, you do the rehearsal and stuff, and then you shoot the scene and let them, you know, say this is your house and room environment stuff, and you know your bed is here and that kind of stuff, and just use it, you know, just whatever motivates you, you know, and we'll put the camera where it works.
And do you prefer like a longer or a shorter rehearsal period before you start shooting?
You know, they'll give you like 2 minutes.
Or they give you like 2 minutes? Okay.
2 minutes and say, okay, that's long enough, you know. Then you got to get the actors in the works, you know, so they can do the makeup and everything like that and come out, you have one more rehearsal, whatever, maybe.
So
And
would
then
you prefer 10 minutes?
I would prefer enough time to make sure I've got everything
Right.
and any new angles or something like that. But one of the things it does do is it quickens you in your approach, and it's not the best, but it's not the worst.
Mm.
And you know, you have people who have all, you know, a week to shoot a scene, whatever it is, and it's still not right, you know, whatever it is. I mean, it makes you think of things that, you know, that you could, you know, feel as though, you know, you have to be able to make a decision, you know. And I think that's the important thing, to keep going. A cameraman told me once, you know, a lot of directors, you know, they don't know what to do, so they get there and start playing with the props and stuff like that, you know, and so forth. But it's a, you know, people know what they're doing. They know what's needed for a film, what's needed, you know, the acting and so forth. And you know, you get into that, and you find that, you know, you can get done without going overtime, you know.
Mm.
And
Right. That's pretty expensive going overtime on a union shoot, right?
oh, it is a nightmare because everyone's looking around at you, you know, like, do you know what you're doing? I beg your pardon, you know, of course I know what I'm doing. And because everyone wants to figure that they know more than you do to some extent, you know.
So is there like this danger of mutiny?
Only if you have people go home late, you know, very exhausted, you know, and can't get things done. I was on the set where this guy did 70 takes or something like that, you know.
70 takes of
Yes,
like
a mechanical where he wants the arm. I won't mention his name, but anyway, he and all these people that's why they want to kill me, I guess, you know. He's talking about me. He's talking about me. No, but no, it was this show where it was this guy that had this deformed thing about him, you know, and so he wanted to. Well, it was Michael Winner. What's it? Michael Winner did what Altered? What was it? One Altered States or something? One of the ones I can't remember where John Hurd. Anyway, he had this where he wanted his arm raised a certain height, you know, and so they kept reshooting it because his arm wasn't at the exact point, and because I guess it was doing some sort of effect. You know?
Okay.
So like
so
a transition where it has to be like exactly right or something.
Yeah, or something like that. And they kept going on and on. And I couldn't do that. They would fire me in a minute, you know. And say, what do you think you are? I said, and it's yeah, you know, I wouldn't have a friend of mine, like he was working at Disney, and he was making this film, and Disney was giving these notes about the actor's dress. They wanted to redo that, and on and on and on. And so he had to stop and do what they wanted. Okay. And then they accused him of being slow, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's you know, just throw your hands up. You know, it's crazy. This business is crazy. I keep saying that, you know.
Yeah, I mean, were there a lot of frustrations working with Disney?
No. Actually, Disney was surprisingly open to a lot of things. In fact, when we did Nightjob, okay, I was surprised that they wanted to do this story with all its horror and everything in it, or slavery. And they were very probably, outside a few, one of the better productions I was involved in with Disney, and the heads over there. So I was quite surprised. I was quite surprised that.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah,
that's good.
Not have expected that. Yeah.
I didn't expect it either. I mean, it was like, and you never know. And there was one production. I said, I don't know why they got me on this thing. I said, I don't. It's like I thought I was gonna die. I really did. I thought
It's that bad.
It was, I didn't even want to go to the screening of it when it was shown.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I didn't want my name on it, you know, and things like that. It was just a nightmare.
So you could have had an Alan Smithy movie.
Is there something more than the less? I mean, something was more like it could have been like a new definition of the worst thing you could have. You know,
right.
Wow. It would have been a whole new category. You know, yeah. And they had a festival here. It was shown there. Didn't see me there. you know.
Wow.
And,
So I guess to go in kind of the opposite direction, if you could make like no limitations one movie, what movie would you make? Like if if you had like if all the stars aligned and you could just make one.
oh, there's a lot of them
Okay.
I would do. It would just be one, it would be a lot. There's a lot of great stories out there, you know.
And any ones in particular? They're in the Area 51.
there's, I mean, I stopped talking about some movies I wanted to do, you know, because these guys, like, if it's not interesting to them, it's not even a movie, you know. If it isn't. Again. It's just, you know, or they're not calling me about work, you know, about getting me a job.
Right.
It's not about that. It's just, it's a complaint, you know, something like, thank you. So I probably.
I mean, we're kind of making a movie here about a guy who gets a lot of mysterious calls on his cell phone.
And you know, please answer.
Right.
This is how rumors about your death get started. They think like, oh my God, he's not answering his phone.
Yes, one of those guys killed him. Yeah, yeah, it's awful. I tell you. I mean, this is a crazy business.
Yeah.
We watched Finding Buck McHenry. I mentioned this to Dan. It's like, well, maybe that's not the first. Just it's like, no. We'll watch. You know, because Dan introduced me to your films. I said, okay, Kill of Sheep, My Brother's Wedding, To Sleep with Anger, and I want to watch Finding Buck McHenry. So it deals with a very heavy topic, and it's a really interesting story. But it's also the production company and who.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's stylistically, it feels very different. Like thematically, there's a continuity, but
yeah, it's kind of, but it's like one of these kind of things where, you know, we shot in Canada, which was.
Oh, it's in Canada.
They shot that in Canada, which was, you know, they didn't tell you that Canada was known secretly as ADR land, ADR country, automatic dialogue replacement, right? And because you think it's very quiet there, but as soon as you put up a camera, there's all these airplanes buzzing over. You know, you don't realize you set up there. It's like, yeah, okay, stop. And it's like, where did we? You know, when I did Nightjohn, I scouted locations and we found this quiet place, okay, and we locked it down and everything. Then we went there to shoot. Over the little rise was the Air Force Base. and we didn't know that until we set up the camera and everything and booked it. And these jets came over, scraping, like whining and screaming. and the sound person that I worked with before, we had the relationship about, you know, and she looked over and says, who chose this place? You know, who chose this location? What can I do? But raise my hand. So, well, you know, it went when I looked at it, it was completely quiet. And that's the thing that happens, particularly with sound, you know. Same thing with The Sleep with Anger. We had this place where the whole house was, but on the other side of the alley was a bodybuilding shop, you know. So we would be out trying to shoot, and these people would be, they would be banging up this. Let me just say one thing.
All right.
Hello.
Here, let me pause.
Yeah, I'm almost.
Okay. I mean, we don't want to keep you if there's like important, you know, if the house is on fire or, you know, I mean, you're not hostage, it's just an interview, so, you know.
No, it'd be more human if I burned up here, you know. Yeah, we have it on camera, folks, you know.
Well, can you write your obituary first? So that
I probably did, you know. Sorry, it's that long. No, but I mean, this is like, we could have did that yesterday, this thing here. Anyway, I'm losing it. Anyway, what I was saying.
With something to do with a lot of noise issues.
Yeah, and the one thing from this, I would tell filmmakers that they probably already know. But when you go to looking for scouting, you do it with a tech scout. It was when you bring all the crew members. But before you lock down a location, bring the sound people. Check out and let them sit there for a day or 2 days, because things are perfect the first day when you go out there. It's like, oh, we can move here, and be tired. And then after 2 or 3 days, after one day, the day you bring the camera, the record sound, that's when you realize, no. It doesn't work like that, And you get so, you can imagine when this was in, where we did a night job. It was in a place where it was serene, quiet, and then these jets, and you have to stop, and that's something you don't anticipate, particularly when you think, oh, there's going to be duck soup, we're just going to shoot continuously, not have to worry about anything, no traffic noise, because we're out in the country, But I tell you, one of the things, this is important because it could happen, and filmmakers shouldn't do this if they're involved in film, that they know how to hold you hostage. We were in Sumter, we were in Wilmington, and we were shooting a wedding, and we were out in this field, right? And there's houses miles, way across the field. And so we start shooting, and all of a sudden we hear this banging on someone putting their tile on the roof or something. And then this would go on, and we would wait for them to stop. They wouldn't, so we send someone over there. Of course, they want us to pay them, Okay. But the problem was that these were filmmakers filmmakers who moved to there so they can be, because they weren't very filmmakers. So they provide the crews for other films. But to show you how mercenary they are, they just refuse to be cooperative. And they want to exploit the fact that, you're making a film, we're going to get paid for it,
Okay.
And then, and that was another disappointing thing,
Sounds like from some of the stuff you've been saying, some of it is like great and works really well, and some parts of the industry are, I don't know, shall we say, less than pleasant?
Yeah, it's all about money, all about money. And if it was reversed, it's just hard to imagine. Well, the way things are here with with January 6th and stuff like that, people acting crazy, gonna overturn the Constitution and stuff. And even though it's gonna kill, involve them, it's just amazing how people think.
Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty alarming to watch, like, the escalating levels of violence. I think, or at least like publicized, kind of like partially mainstream embraced political violence that have occurred in the last,
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah, I always thought the Civil War won't start for another 30 years or so. Not that it's already started.
Oh no, it's here. I tell you honestly, man, I'm afraid to go out in the streets. I mean, it's not even like crazy people out there, but these guys in my neighborhood, where they're driving these hopped up cars, these Dodge, whatever they say, Dodge, whatever it is, have this big engine, and they come and they go up my street like it's a runway for jets or something, and it's scary, because I have to back out of my driveway, and you have to look both ways, all this stuff. It's frightening. It really is, and you can't say anything to anyone because they're just, crazy, carrying a gun, all this kind of stuff. You can't say, so you almost hit me, too bad,
Right.
Anyhow.
Right. Yeah. People are like really reactive now. Is it like it seems like their patience is kind of up.
Oh,
a lot of time, they'll snap a lot easier.
It's crazy. They don't have any patience. They just
and they won't hold back.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't even say I'm sorry. This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
People are crazy.
Oh gosh, now I'm thinking about, I like to think sometimes I live in this bubble, and I kind of like this bubble here. I'm in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Well, I mean, Boston was totally like a bubble. Like, my friend Stan biked from New Jersey to visit once, like right before the 2016 election, and he said like everything up until basically like a mile away it was just endless Trump signs, every single one. It was weird because I was like, I was walking dogs in like Brookline, and within the city itself, I probably saw like one Trump sign the entire time. And he was showing me these pictures, and it's like there were like literal bubbles.
Mm.
It seemed like.
But if you were driving, I mean, this was years ago too, not that many years, about 5 or 6 years, maybe longer, that if you drove across country, but at radio stations, you would always find these right-wing radio stations.
Yeah.
They would all, if you turn one knob, there's the same one. I used to complain about this and that, and how democracy and comment, all this kind of stuff is taking over. And those were the main stations,
Right.
It was, I mean, that was coming. You see it coming. You saw it,
Well, and it was sort of interesting how like the conspiracy culture, like I remember that being kind of like I think most people kind of regard it as like a sideshow, right? Like it was like JFK conspiracy nuts. They were always kind of portrayed like like Trekkies, somebody's like bugging William Shatner or something, right? and like the fact that became such a major element in just these and I think like the reason you hear the right wing talk stations everywhere is they don't necessarily have to worry about making money because they're being bankrolled as propaganda, right? And you figure it's like more useful as propaganda if you got it in a town where there's maybe like only 2 or 3 other radio stations.
But it's crazy, like Tucker Carlson, how they allow him to get away with what he does.
Yeah.
It's like he's so I can't stand to look at him. It's just
me either.
I can't. I just and one of the things one of these guys that I used to work for, a very conservative guy, but he wasn't radical like these guys are. But he listened to all the radio stations. In fact, I was sort of envious because he would listen to all the left wing and everything, and so he was kind of intellectually above this stuff. And he was a friend of Ronald Reagan's and stuff like that, and yeah, some crazy stuff. Anyway, but he was very informed, to the point where he knew what was going on in the community and stuff like that, and he was well-to-do. And anyhow, after that, I said I should read or listen to a lot of these different radio stations. Even if I don't like them, I should listen to them and find out what they're thinking.
Yeah.
So do you do that now?
No.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't stand listening to these characters.
I like playing around with that with like a ham radio sometime, or like you can get like a fake ham radio on your computer, and it's just sort of like, what does a pop music station sound like in Germany or something? I'll do that sometimes at night for fun, but I don't know if I could do that with news because I don't speak a lot of. I speak English. I don't speak a lot of languages.
Gosh, now I miss the days of when I drove cross country, 30 years ago, and the commonality of the radio stations as you drive cross country is there's lots of religious stuff.
There's a lot of yeah. Well, I remember when Brian and I were
place.
driving around the country, it was like I think it was near where Elvis was born, but there was like a fire and brimstone but it was like evangelical Jewish station. It wasn't Christian. It was the only evangelical Jewish station I ever heard. I mean, other than that, it was nothing that exciting. It was kind of the same. Like, if you don't send me money, bad things are going to happen. Kind of things. Like God's extortion racket kind of thing.
Say, oh gosh, how did we get on such a depressing topic?
I don't know. But
I think it was my fault. I know it sounded like you have to go soon because we don't want to keep you. We're really enjoying this, but
these people want me to help them do something, and
okay.
Yeah. So whenever they say they call me back, as they usually do, and they always call when I'm really, really, really busy for some reason.
They knew.
Well, I did tell you something. I'm really paranoid because when I come back in the house, the moment I come back to the house and open the door, the phone rings. And there's a friend of mine who calls me. Every time she calls, I'm in the bathroom, in the toilet. And so I said, I keep saying, oh, what is it? You got a connection? Is there some sort of app or something that you attach to my phone, whatever it is? Because It's uncanny.
Maybe it's like a sixth sense. Maybe she just like she senses it, you know.
Oh, God, I hope not. It's just
That
like
that's a bad movie pitch. Somebody had, like a horror movie, so somebody they can just tell when you're going to the bathroom.
uh-huh.
I mean, that's kind of creepy, but
It is. It is. But you know, I'm talking about bad movies. Bad movies. I was on, was it Netflix or Amazon, and they had this movie on called Zombie Strippers. And so,
I think I saw the little the preview thing for that at some point.
don't even buy. It's so
Don't bother.
ridiculous. It is so ridiculous. It's like one of the worst movies, and it's worse and worse. But if you
All right,
see
Dan, next episode.
a sequel and a prequel and all that.
Oh man, so what does it at least like deliver on, like, are there at least zombie strippers somewhere in the movie, or is it
No,
just like
it's so convoluted. It's like you can't imagine where it goes, and it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, you wouldn't expect it to make any sense, but it's just it's disappointing on all the levels. You know, you say, what? Who would think about that? And then and then you think about it and you say, now these people won't produce my film. You know, yeah. Look at, like, if you don't spell right, have dots, I's and T's and stuff like that, they look at you like you're totally uneducated, man.
Right.
And you say, but how can you say anything about anything when you make a movie or produce a movie called Zombie Strippers, you know? And it doesn't make any sense. It's like, one of the things that bothered me, I was looking at this film, I won't mention the name. I was working on this film, and there was this guy who was a producer from Harvard. He taught English, and he wanted, he didn't even know anything about movies or plot, a story. And I'm saying, now you're a producer, you taught at Howard. Who did you know? Because the only way you could get in, you know, this is it's not through, you know, you spend years, you know, writing some great work of fiction. No, but then you tell me to do something just totally stupid in this production, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, this is kind of awful, but right now I'm imagining what a Charles Burnett directed version of Zombie Strippers would look like.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing.
Jesus
I mean,
Lord.
it shouldn't happen, I don't think, but like, it's parts of it are happening in my head right now. So if I start randomly chuckling, that's
No, I mean, no, I would be dead afterwards. Sure, it'd be, and it said, why did he shoot himself? You know, why did he take his own life? Why? Because he didn't want to be.
well, but like, if you jinx it like that, you're going to be reincarnated as like a zombie stripper, though, right?
No, I'd be like reincarnated over and over and over again, like Groundhog Day.
Right.
I was like, why does he keep destroying himself? Why does he keep going through this thing? No way.
Right. So I guess we got the scoop on how your version of that movie would go down. So do you ever watch bad movies for fun?
There's one I did, and I was trying to tell my friends about. You should see this movie. It is so bad. But it's you know, have you heard movies are so bad till they're actually fun to watch?
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there was a Films at Midnight, but there was one that did this thing with what's this horror movie director named Mario Brava or something? What's his name?
Oh yeah, Maria Brava or something.
It was a guy.
I never heard it. I've never heard it pronounced out loud though, so I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was about some vampires from outer space or something with Barry Sullivan, and went to see that Films at Midnight or something, and he was this captain of the spaceship, and he sort of walked with the stiff legs, you know, like someone said, you know, you ought to take some X-Lax or something. These people don't forget it. Yeah, so in the movie, it was all of his fans, and they would chant Mario Baba Baba. It would all be something done, and it's at midnight, watching these crazy movies, cheering for him, And I didn't know he was so popular, or whatever. So anyway, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Is it Planet of the Vampires? I just looked it up.
Or something. Is it Barry Sullivan in it or something like that? Or some big old star?
Yes, Barry Sullivan. All right. Yeah. Planet of the Vampires, Mario Bava, 1965. All right.
Oh, Dan, my memory is still good. My memory is still good. Yeah, it was such, it was so fun. Everyone was talking to the movie and cracking up, and those are fun, because man, it was an awful movie, but the only way you can really appreciate it is in an audience like that. And at midnight when you have those. But I've seen some really bad movies, and one particular one was where this turkey was like a killer turkey, this person took this drug, whatever it was, and he turned into this turkey.
Oh, Blood Freak.
Is that what it was? Okay.
Blood Freak. I think I'm showing that tomorrow for Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's
like a Thanksgiving tradition with the turkey monster movie.
Yeah, and then this girl, he was in bed with this girl, and whatever it was, and she was like saying something like, "Oh, you've been having," and she, surprised that he was such a good lover, And I try to tell people, "Man, you ought to see this movie. It's the dumbest thing and the worst thing ever produced." What's it called? Blood Turkey, whatever.
I think it's Blood Freak. It's from like 1972, I want to say. It's like it's like a Christian anti-drug movie, but it's super gory, and like the plot's almost the same as that like Warhol Flesh for Frankenstein or Blood for Dracula thing, where it's like he's got to get like the blood of virgins or something like that, or else he stops being the turkey monster.
Yeah.
And something it doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, forget it. And he makes this turkey noise.
Blood Freak, 1962, and directed by Brad F. Grinter. All right, it's a real movie.
It's a Thanksgiving tradition in my household.
Oh God! But that would make you stop eating turkey. You say, that'd be the end of the last turkey I ever ate.
That's awesome. Why I focus on the yams and the stuffing.
Yeah, I'm all about the cranberry though. I love the cranberry stuff. I got like a sweet tooth. No, I was just telling Ron about the first time I ever saw Killer of Sheep, because like I was corresponding with Ray Kearney when I was a teenager, and he was like, "You got to see this movie," and it was like pretty hard to find for a really long time. Mm-hmm. And then that it got re-released to the theaters, and they were only showing it. I was living in Saratoga, and they were only showing it in Albany, and I think I was like 15. But yeah, so I conned my parents into going to this Tulip Festival because I didn't have a job or a car. My younger sister and I, we like wandered off to the movie theater and then mysteriously emerged like an hour and a half later. And the theater, they had the sound like turned off for the first 15 minutes, and I wasn't sure because I hadn't seen a lot of description of the film, and I just figured, oh, it's weird. Okay, I guess it's a silent movie. It's like a modern.
Oh my God, no!
And then they turned the volume, and I this time going through, because I saw it in the interim, but it's funny. It's a very different movie without sound for the first.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I'll tell you one thing that happened here without sound. I shot this film in Africa, Struggle for Liberation by Sammy Owen.
Yeah.
And so I screened it somewhere in Brooklyn or New York somewhere. And, so I left the screening to go out walking around because you see it a dozen times, you don't want to see it anymore.
Right.
And so I came back when the movie's over, and this lady raised her hand and she said, this was an unusual editing job you did. I said, what do you mean? Well, it was kind of like, she was trying to describe it to me, and I was like, what's she talking about? And so I said, no, I don't know. It's just conventionally straightforward. There's nothing special about it. And she said, I think, well, I'm not trying to argue with her. I just say, well, people see things differently. So that screen is over. Then they're going to show the film again. So I said, let me watch it and see what she's talking about. So I watching the film, and they have these things on these platters, which is terrible. And so, once you hook everything up, it takes you days to figure things out, redo it, And I realized that they had put the wrong reels up.
Oh my God.
And
so
I
it was
was
completely out of order?
out of order. And I was
Oh,
looking around to
God.
try to find a lady to apologize, to say,
Oh, man.
you're right. It was, oh God, that was the worst embarrassing thing. I could imagine what it looked like, but a lot of people didn't even, except for her, either fell asleep or something, I don't know. But
it's the not director's cut.
no, no, it was amazing.
The special edition.
Yeah, it took them hours to put that doggone things back in order,
Oh wow.
I was so mad, dude. But and I've been to theaters where they couldn't get the projector working. So the guy was trying to fix the projector, stood in front of the projector so it was on his back. And we're like, oh, and they didn't know how to turn the lights off, You get all these kind of variations of disaster,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I worked at a movie theater, and I don't know how many times we ran into the issue of the lights not turning off.
Yeah.
Well,
one of the places we were at, it was an independent film. It was somewhere, I don't know if it was Boston or somewhere. So they couldn't turn the lights up. So, and they had all these, it was a church, it was all these banks of lights up there. So one guy had the idea, we're going to get up to the ladder and unscrew all the bulbs.
Oh God.
So, I mean, it's like, come on, when I screened the film in Berlin, it caught a fire,
Oh my God, it caught on fire?
Well, what happened is, it was being projected. And somehow the projector stopped, and you saw all of a sudden the frame.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, and it was a disaster. And
you don't usually hear that happen into like sound movies, right? Because like the stuff they used to make silent movies out of, it's basically just like rocket fuel, give or take.
It's nitrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they always caught a fire.
I thought they fixed that, but I guess not.
No, I used to work at an agency where they kept a lot of Hitchcock films, all these other films, silent films, in these vaults, and they'll put them outside. They start sweating and stuff, and so they put them outside. If they caught a fire, they caught a fire. But so you saw when you pass by beacons, you see these look like they were mausoleums, and so they would have the films like hanging outside, and all these great films. They didn't know what a lot of these companies just lost a lot of money. I mean, Universal did right. I mean, they had they built this place where they had all the old films made, and they used that to attract people. MGM had, where they did Andy Hardy and stuff like that. They had their own little places they built, and a lot of these old movies, and they just didn't know how to use it. It was a shame. But anyway, it's now they look all over the world to get pieces of these films and put them back together.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, they're finding stuff.
Yeah.
They found like the 2 hours of Metropolis or whatever, right?
Yeah, they do this. Abu Ghanz's Napoleon. It's a beautiful film. But they, ours was like that. A lot of independent films were just, we didn't realize the value of them, so we just left them in the garage or something like that. And then they start turn into vinegar, and start smelling.
Right.
And Ross Lippman was responsible for saving Killer Sheep. Ross Lippman and Dennis Doro, came along and, you need to put this redo it. I mean, it was construction and editing and so forth. So that really helped. Yeah, I was gonna say, Dennis Doro and his wife really did an amazing job of independent films.
Yeah, I thought the remake. I mean, I don't know what it looked like originally, but I thought it looked a lot better than what its reputation was suggesting. The like film quality and everything was going to look like. I thought.
No, it was. I mean, there was scratches in it and all that stuff like that. Because I wanted it to make it look like it was,
It had been around a few times.
Yeah, but I did the wrong thing. I should have not did that. What I did, I should have tried to make a perfect film, a perfect print. But I thought, old black and white, and we look, give it an age thing to it, not
Yeah.
sepia, but age. And then you don't realize that how hard it is to get prints from it, decent prints. You live and you learn,
But yeah, I always kind of wondered how they transferred those, like, it's like that Brackage film where you just like, it just moth parts like glued to a film strip, and it's like, how do you even rent that? Like,
I remember looking at some of those old experimental films when they were in the 60s, quite interesting. Because they used to have films at midnight in LA, and all those classic, I guess, experimental films like Kubelka and Brackage and whoever else was making those things. Interesting.
cool.
Well, I think we've actually, I just noticed the time. We've been on for almost 2 hours, and we've actually got to wrap it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
We've got to wrap it up soon. Is there anything?
I can't think of anything because I just go in circles, so
Right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, we'll be back at the beginning if you listen to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, we'd love to have you on again. This has been great.
I'm having a lot of fun here.
Yeah, I did too.
And so I guess this has been Charles Burnett, one of America's greatest living filmmakers, as it turns out, a very entertaining storyteller,
and still alive.
Yes.
So if you're wondering about that, at least as of Wednesday.
Oh gosh, don't say that. No.
No, I'm just imagining one of those boards in like 300 days since workplace. Anyway, we're trying not to jinx anything here on the show. This has been a very special 100th episode of Anominy Questionable Movies. I'm still Dan.
And I'm still Ron.
And Charles, if people want to check out your work, where should they go?
I don't know. I mean,
we'll find some links.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the thing to do is they should call the theater and say he put some money into his films.
Yeah, give this guy money. Give this guy money.
Yeah, that's the main thing. Yeah. Put some money into his films.
Yeah, definitely.
Go call that theater in Albany. Tell the Tulip Festival folks they need to.
Well, I have a car now, so if it comes to Albany, I can just drive there. It's gonna be, and I know that the film is supposed to have sound, so I can I can be the guy to go complain. But all right. So thanks for coming on, and
thank you very much.
Yeah, it was a pleasure too. It was a great pleasure. I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, well, thank you, and we'll see you on the internet.